Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Fitness in Focus. And before we get started with this episode, I really want to thank you all for listening to Fitness in Focus about 2000 times in just a span of 3 months. I hope that I have been able to add value to your lives. I've been able to provide you with some valuable informations about fitness, about how workout works. I really hope that I have made some difference in your lives. So thank you all for listening to Fitness and Focus. So guys, moving forward, the topic of today's episode is going to be different types of diets that are trending on the internet. I've heard about a lot of them, but I'm going to talk about three main types of diet. The first one is intermittent fasting. Then the second one is the ketogenic diet, and the third one is vegan diet. Okay, so I'm only going to stick to the specifics about how it helps in weight loss and if it's good for muscle gain as well or not. Okay, and I'm not going to talk about the ethical reasons of it. Okay, I'm just going to stick to the specifics. So the first most popular kind of diet that we're going to talk about is intermittent fasting. So what intermittent fasting means is that you get to eat for only 8 to 10 hours in a day and fast for the remaining 14 to 16 hours. Okay, so it restricts your eating habit only to 1/3 of the day. Okay, and for the remaining 2/3 you're just fasting. So it should not be called a diet but rather an eating pattern. Okay, because a diet involves you to restrict some of the food that you eat, and it advises you some food to eat. But intermittent fasting doesn't works like that. Okay, it just restricts your timing and does not restricts any kind of food, okay, that you can eat or cannot eat in a day. So moving on, there is not just one type of intermittent fasting, but there are three that falls under this umbrella of intermittent fasting. Okay, the first one is the most popular 16-8 method, where you can eat for only 8 hours in a day and fast for the remaining 16 hours. You can start by skipping your breakfast, or you can end your day by with an early dinner. Okay, you can also so 16 hours of fasting doesn't mean that you cannot even have water. You can obviously have water, or alternatively you can also choose some non-carbs beverages like lime water, green tea, to have during those fasting hours. The next kind of intermittent fasting on this list is eat stop eat, where you don't restrict yourself into eating only for 8 to 10 hours, but you have to fast for 2 days, for 2 days in a week. Okay, so this is slightly an advanced level of the 8 of the regular 8 16-8 method of intermittent fasting. Now moving on to the third kind of intermittent fasting, it's called 5:2. Okay, so what happens is that you can have only 500 to 600 calories for 2 consecutive days in a week, and then you can have your normal food throughout the week. Okay, so these are the three types of intermittent fasting. So moving on, guys, intermittent fasting has great health benefits, and this is the reason why it has been adopted into multiple religions across ages. Since and it's actually centuries old. Okay, I cannot think of a religion that has not adopted the way of intermittent fasting in its culture and its tradition. There's a kind of intermittent fasting in Buddhism, Jainism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, you name it, and there is intermittent fasting in it. So, my dear Gen Zs, if you think that intermittent fasting is something that has just seeded, I'm really sorry, but it hasn't. Your grandfather, your mom and dad, they have been practicing since a very long time. So, as I said, there are several benefits of intermittent fasting, and some of the proven ones are that intermittent fasting actually boosts your level of HGH, the growth hormone in your body, and because of it, the rate of fat loss increases. Okay, so you start losing weight faster because of the HGH. It also detoxifies your body, so it removes the toxins from your bloodstream, and that makes you look younger, that makes you look lighter. Okay, it also improves your skin tone. Okay, so a lot of benefits. So what happens is your cell digests and removes old dysfunctional proteins that have built up inside them. So naturally, the protein has been replaced and your body will look younger, your skin tone will improve. So why does this exactly happens? The answer is very simple. Intermittent fasting restricts you to eat only during certain hours in a day. Okay, so so naturally, what happens is the calories that you're consuming in a day will be less from your regular 2000 calories that you consume in a day. And therefore there are many researches available that supports the fact that intermittent fasting is a great way for weight loss, and it really helps you to catalyze if you're in a journey of losing weight. So there are no pros without some cons of anything, be it anything, right? So what do I tell you people? That always consult a nutritionist or a dietitian, okay, or someone experienced in this field before you adopt a certain diet. You must always have a goal. Why are you doing this? Why are you getting into this type of diet? Okay, there should be some reason behind it. There should be a goal that you're trying to achieve. Okay, so what happens is when you're fasting for, let's say, 14 to 16 hours a day, you're not just restricting calories, you're also restricting protein. Okay, your protein intake in a day, which is very essential for muscle gain. So if it's only the weight that you're trying to lose, and losing a bit of muscle mass in the process doesn't bother you, okay, I say that it's a good option. But if you're trying to build a muscle mass, then intermittent fasting won't do much of a good for you. Why? Because protein is one of the most important thing, the most important thing when it comes to building muscle mass, and you're restricting it by fasting for 14 to 16 hours in a day. In order to recover your muscles and to develop more muscle mass, your body needs protein spike at several times of a day. Okay, and since you're fasting for 14 to 16 hours, okay, that muscle spike won't happen in that 14 to 16 hours. That is why most of the pro bodybuilders and athletes, okay, they go for a balanced diet 4 to 5 times, 6 times a day when they are trying to increase their muscle mass. One more thing is your body also requires energy when you're sleeping. Okay, so let's say you have eaten and you have had an early dinner about 6 p.m. and then you're going to sleep at about, let's say, 11 p.m. in the night. Okay, so for that 5 hours you haven't eaten anything, you have just consumed water, you have definitely hydrated yourself. Okay, but the food that you have eaten has already been digested and the energy has been released. So what happens is your body will start uh, breaking down the protein in it, okay, to release that required amount of energy. Though the amount of energy required at that time is very less, but still it will tear your muscles, it will use the protein to release energy. Therefore, concluding my take on intermittent fasting, it's great if your goal is only weight loss and a bit of muscle loss in the process doesn't bother you. But if you're like me and you want to gain muscle mass at all times in the year, okay, then intermittent fasting is not much of an help for you. I'll tell you my experience. Okay, so we do fast for about 30 days in a year during the months of Ramzan. So what happens after 30 days is, that I obviously look great. Okay, I feel great because I've been fasting for 30 days, 12 to 14 hours in a day. Okay, so I look great, I feel great, I feel light. But what also happens in that 30 days is that I end up losing a lot of muscle mass. Okay, but that is there, that comes with the package. Okay, so if it doesn't bothers you that much, you can definitely go for intermittent fasting.